week is here. It's upon us. A little bit sooner for us. Yesterday was like a normal Monday for our team. We took Saturday off, had Friday like a normal, what we call family Fridays, where we went through where we play games and have a walkthrough, offense, defense, special teams walkthrough, substitution call-outs. And then we broke, and our guys had about a day and a half off all day, the rest of that day Friday, and then Saturday, and we came back first thing Sunday morning, 7 a.m., out on the field like a normal Monday, and then today was like a normal Tuesday. A little bit shorter. Obviously, it's kind of round two, if you will, of game plan week. We practiced against Michigan State last week, and we did again this week, but it'll be a lot shorter, a lot crisper. No tackling this week, really trying to get their bodies back as best we can, but also get the amount of work in that we need to be competitive in this game. So again, really excited because I haven't seen half this team play a game live. You know, half this team did not play football for FAU. So they were either in high school or playing for another school. So all I got to do was watch them on film. So it'll be fun to take this team into a hostile environment. Certainly respect the heck out of Michigan State and their tradition, their fan base. It's going to be a really, really difficult place to play. I know Coach Smith does a phenomenal job, and we'll have those guys certainly ready. But again, it poses unique challenges too. In week one, to have a brand new staff, you know, very little of our film study has been on Michigan State. We watched them early to kind of study personnel matchups, but beyond that, you know, we're watching Oregon State, we're watching Minnesota video, so it'll be interesting to see what new wrinkles each side of the ball has, knowing that the personnel is a bit different for them as well.
Facing off against a dual threat quarterback in Jayden Childs, kind of what are your overlying thoughts on him, and has it helped the defense overall with Cam Fancher being mobile as well?
Well, I think so, yeah. There's some misconception about guys like that where, you know, they make all their hay outside the pocket, and obviously Cam's not live, you know, we're not tackling him, but I think where you get a feel is for those athletic guys in the pocket too. You know, some of those, hey, you reach out and you grab a guy, normal guys go down, or, you know, some of these guys in the pocket, it's you reach out and you're grabbing air, you know, so I think just his elusiveness in the pocket has definitely helped, and then when he does extend plays, it's certainly different than when other guys do it.
With his speed and everything that he brings to the table, do you kind of look to send a blitz to kind of speed him up a little bit, or do you look to kind of try to contain him in the pocket?
I think there's two schools of thought, right? And I think it depends on the guy and how well he's coached, the amount of reps he has. I think with those guys, yeah, if you overload him and it confuses him, that's certainly the way to go. A confused quarterback is a slow quarterback, is a non-functional quarterback. But if in our offense, we see blitz as opportunity, you know, and if he's coached well and executes well and can kind of pick that blitz apart, so to speak, definitely more high risk. And so you'll see a lot of guys on passing downs maybe drop 8 into coverage too, and kind of spy him, or maybe just keep everything underneath, keep everything inside. So having coach guys like him, you got to make sure when you're studying the defensive coordinator, you're studying teams with light quarterbacks, because their philosophy, especially on third down, changes quite a bit, because depending on the type of quarterback you're playing, because, you know, 3rd and 6, you know, you play man coverage and turn your back to, you know, these guys that can make you pay. That's a scary thought, you know, that guy, all he's got to do is tuck it and get 7 yards. So we'll see, but they'll definitely have a philosophy, and we'll see if we can execute against it.
Coach, any updates on the injury front? I know there were a couple guys that were banged up, and I believe you said Scarley would probably have to set this one out. But
Yeah.
anything new develop or anything positive that was slated for later that is now going to be an earlier?
No, I think you guys are pretty caught up. Logic Hudgens had surgery on his ACL, will not play this season. BJ Alexander had surgery on his patellar tendon. Good news, did not tear his ACL, so we'll only need one surgery. I'm trying to think. Elijah Brown is still coming off of a concussion, so if everything goes according to plan, he'll be back for the game though. Caden Shields-Dutton, we should have in a week or two. I said Scarley, hopefully Army, but it's kind of a week-to-week thing. Other than that, I think you guys are pretty caught up.
Just BJ potentially coming next year, but I believe that's a long shot.
Yeah, he would need a 7th year. He's certainly eligible for it, so I haven't had that discussion with him yet. I think we wanted to see first, they were going to go in and do the surgery on the patellar tendon and decide whether they needed to then go back in a couple months for the ACL. The answer is no. So I think now that he has a more informed prognosis, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, but that's way down the road.
Yeah, okay.
How do you balance keeping the game plan sort of simple, since there's been so much turnover and it's game one, versus strategizing against the opponent and trying to get a little cute?
Well, I think them being new helps. I think a couple things help. One, you always try to be simple in game one, because as tempting as it is to surprise them with all of this new stuff, if it's not you're probably not going to be good at it. And so the flip side, let's be us, let's be the best version of ourselves. We've had 4 weeks to basically kind of fine tune. Now, that's not saying we were going against Michigan State and worrying about that game plan for 4 weeks. We weren't, but other than the bowl game, this will be the longest you have. We've spent a good, when it's all said and done, week and a half, 12 days on Michigan State. So we should have a good idea, but I think the importance is let's do what we do and do it really well and do it at a level higher than them, because we're going to have enough to think about with the adjustments of what they're doing differently to worry about a whole lot of things that we do differently. So again, new staff, then also with the fear of the unknown, you don't want to go in and have so many gadgets or surprises that are geared towards Minnesota's defense or Oregon State's offense, when these are good coaches. I'm sure they showed up and said, hey, we could do this at Minnesota, we probably can't do this here at Michigan State, or hey, we always wanted to do this but couldn't at Minnesota, but now we got the right players, we can do this. So there's going to be some differences just from it being a new staff, and I think us being as much as consolidated as we can be will help us adjust to those.
In your time at Ohio State, what stood out to you playing at Michigan State?
No, I don't have vivid memories a lot. These guys, a lot of guys I work with, they remember what the visiting locker rooms were like and the visiting hotels and all. I don't remember hardly any of that. But I remember this fan base, and I remember going there one night, I guess it was in 14 when we won the national championship, and we scored a lot of points that night, but they did too, and it was a hell of a game. Mike Thomas had a heck of a game, if I remember. I just remember, this is no offense to their brothers in Ann Arbor, but that stadium in Ann Arbor holds 40,000 more people, and I thought the one in East Lansing was significantly louder and more disruptive for an offense. So we're going to have our hands full when it comes to playing in that environment. Week 1, Friday night, Big Ten Network. But the good thing about having a lot of transfers is a lot of these guys have played in environments like that too.
Well, since you brought up Ohio State, I'm just kind of curious. Do you, if any, what kind of similarities do you maybe see between Cam Fancher and Braxton Miller?
A lot. They're from the same high school. Cam's dad and Braxton grew up together. So, you know, the closeness there gets you going down that road, but then you watch their game and it's very similar. I still, and this is no offense to Cam, but Braxton Miller is the best over 6 foot athlete I've ever seen live and in person. He could do things that I've never seen done. And so I don't know that Cameron quite has that kind of athletic ability, but he's close. He's close. And just their demeanor, their persona, very, very calm and reserved and quiet. Nothing gets to him. Very stone-faced, but very, very, very much that way when things are going great too. You're not going to get a whole lot of rah-rah out of either one of those guys either. But when it's go time, they know how to lock. Braxton Miller was a dog. He was a dog, and I would want him in my foxhole any day of the week. And I'm pretty certain I would say the same about Cam. We're gonna seal that package up Friday night, hopefully, and make sure that he's worthy enough of getting in that foxhole with Braxton.
Do you think Cam's calmer demeanor can kind of play into the hands of Michigan State and kind of help him stay composed and such a tough environment?
Yeah, and he played in Notre Dame Stadium. I think that's what they call it. He's been in some big games. He's played in some big stadiums, and his demeanor, as you said, it's like built for that, right? I mean, this is a guy that, even though you may not see a whole lot of rah-rah, you're also in the ebbs and flows of a game. There's going to be adversity, and he's steady Eddie when it comes to that, and you can see that rub off on our team and the impact he's had too.
You mentioned the crowd is one of the better ways to overcome that, being able to run the ball, because it would seem like it's simpler, and if you're beating another team physically, that kind of takes them out of the game, and you don't want to put everything on Cam in game one.
Yeah, and it's boring for the fans, right? You take them out of the game by lulling them to sleep, I think. But no, we want to run the football. I mean, we're going to be better in that facet this year compared to last year. How much better, I don't know. This is going to be as good a front seven, that we'll play all year. But I think we're very simple in our run game plan. I think the offensive line and tight ends and backs feel really, really comfortable. We haven't installed a new run in weeks, so they've been doing the same thing over and over and over again. And so we're going to always want to run the football. You're right, to take it. You don't want to sit there and drop back. We're not built to drop back 50 times a game. So when we throw the ball on first and second down, a lot of it's going to be off the run action, and you better be able to run the ball for it to matter.
Is there anyone in particular that's going to be a focal point in the passing game? Obviously, the wide receiver room has suffered the loss of LeJohntay Wester. He's gone, but is there anyone new that'll be a focal point?
The open guy. No, they've had a really good camp. There's just nobody that's merited that, and that's a compliment, right? Because they're all playing at a very high level. Are any of them LeJohntay Wester? Probably not. But as I've said before, yes, LeJohntay is gone, but what did he have? 110 catches, probably 150 targets. It's not like we're going to throw the ball 150 times less. So those targets are going to go somewhere. Those catches are going to go somewhere. Those touchdowns are going to go somewhere. It's just probably going to be spread across 5-6 guys.
It's really an honor just to know that my guys believe in me that much to allow me to be a captain on the team. I thank everyone who voted me. I really appreciate it, and I really take pride in being the captain of this team.
And how has camp gone, especially for the defensive side of the ball?
I think camp went great. I think it went great. I think we were big on tightening the screws, and I think we tightened a lot of screws this camp. We built bonds, we built connections, and I think that's what it's going to take us where we want to go, and which is winning the championship.
Facing off against a freshman quarterback or he's technically a freshman, but anyway, he's got that dual threat ability to him, and with all the talent you guys have in the secondary, do you guys feel like it's a chance to kind of disguise some coverages, get in his head a little bit back there?
Yeah, that's what our secondary coaches really harp on that, holding our shells, mixing different like disguises to confuse them, because that's what it's going to take with any quarterback, not just him, with any quarterback, disguising and just showing different looks so we can make plays back there.
How much are you guys itching to play an actual game after what seemed like a long training camp?
Oh man, the guys is ready. I really feel the energy, and we talk about it every day, how ready we is to go against somebody other than our teammates. So it's really going to be fun for us to go out there and just let it loose.
I'm curious if anyone in the locker room heard Aiden Child's comments. I believe he said, if you're going to bet on this game, bet the over. I'm not too sure exactly what that means, but I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts on that.
We don't really get into all that. We felt the same way we've been feeling before he said it, before we even heard the comment. So we just ready to go out there and show what we can do. We practice and we train so hard for this moment, so we're not gonna let a little comment or a little remark get us out of our game mode. So we just ready.
Going into a hostile environment as a competitor, do you like those tough road games?
Yes, sir, I do. The atmosphere is amazing. Like it's things that we all dreamed of as kids, playing in those environments. So we're really gonna not take it for granted, and really embrace the moment and just have fun.
I think it's just, a blessing just to have the opportunity to go play a game of football and do the thing that we love. So, the offense and the team's excited to go and have an opportunity to not beat up on our guys, but maybe go beat up on the opponent now.
You got a pretty big contingent up there, we're hearing, that are going to be on hand.
Say that again?
You got a pretty big following, a pretty big contingent of family, friends that are going to be up there.
It's not too far from home, so
a lot, right?
We're going to try and have a bunch of the family and friends and supporters get out there.
Yeah.
Is there anything about the environment at a place like Michigan State that makes it personally harder for you, and how do you go about kind of overcoming that?
I think it's just, just knowing your responsibility and your job, plan, play out, and blocking everything else out, and just, trying to do your job.
And since you've been named the starter, it's only been a week, but have you kind of seen maybe the offense kind of come to as like a collective, or is that just something that's been the whole summer?
I feel like, whoever's behind the center, the offense has full trust and confidence that they're going to go out and do the job, whether it's me, whether it's anybody in the room. So whoever's out there, I feel like the offense has full confidence to go out there and, execute.
Do you feel like you guys are game week ready after a few weeks of camp?
Definitely. I feel like the offensive staff and Herman has put together a great plan, and we've just been trying to fine tune the details and really just be fully as prepared as we can going into Friday.
You mentioned the details. Like you said, it's game one. You're going to have a lot of fans. Game one is always a lot of the unknown. Is it important to just kind of stay within yourselves and do what you do best and not try to, everybody play hero?
Yeah, I think it's just, locking in on your job and your responsibility, playing and play out. And, there is a lot of unknown. We see what we see on film, but it's a new year and it's week one, so you always got to be ready to adjust to anything that they show, and then just rely on your rules that you've been coached up all spring, all fall, all camp. And, just rely on that and rely on your preparation at the end of the day.
Something I noticed in watching a little bit of your film is that you're really aggressive with the way you run, sometimes not sliding. Has sliding been kind of a focal point at all for you since coming to FAU, or is just aggressive running your nature?
For sure. I feel like I always, at the end of the day, I got to protect myself. And if I'm using my legs and I'm outnumbered, I definitely got to protect myself and just live to see the next day, or live to see another play. So, you know, whenever I can get down, I am. But if I can extend and make a play, then, you know, I'll try to do that.
What else?
Is there anything in particular that you guys have seen from Michigan State that you have prepared for and made a focal point?
You know, we got to just be prepared for anything they can bring. As we said, it's week one. There's a lot of unknown, so we just got to be able to adjust to anything that we haven't seen on film or whatever like that.